To that extent, the International Crime Tribunal Act 1973 has already been amended to ensure fair trial and transparent judicial process. Among other things, the amendments include redefining the offense in line with international standard, widening the defense rights in judicial process, allowing appointment of foreign lawyers and attendance of representatives from the United Nations and other human rights organizations in public hearing and trial. Distinguished audience, High Commissioner Turk has rightly underscored the importance of a comprehensive process of truth-telling, reparation, and reform as the path to national healing. In this regard, apart from facilitating the work of the OHCHR fact-finding team, an independent commission of inquiry was constituted in Bangladesh to look into all allegations of enforced and involuntary disappearance. The commission has already submitted an interim report titled Unfolding the Truth and is expected to come up with their final report shortly. Let me also mention that the interim government has also decided to define and include enforced disappearance in our penal law and is seriously exploring the options of acceding to the optional protocol of the Convention Against Torture before 26 June. As for reparation and memorialization, our government has established the July Shaheed Memorial Foundation, undertaken extensive financial reparation program for the families of martyrs, as well as for the wounded heroes of July. We also arranged long-term and, in cases, advanced medical treatment abroad for the critically injured and have undertaken initiative for livelihood opportunities. Distinguished audience, in order to restore people's trust and confidence and to ensure that the tragic past never recur in future Bangladesh, our government initiated reform in certain important sectors and formed 15 different reform commissions. Already 6 reform commissions have submitted their final report. Many of the recommendations made in the OHCHR report are similar to the recommendation made by our reform commission, such as ensuring independent judiciary, professional police force, clear definition of roles of intelligence agencies.
And I introduce myself as a proud citizen of Bangladesh, a beautiful and peace-loving nation, known to many as the country of Nobel Peace Prize winner, Professor Dr. Muhammad Yunus. So, however, it is also the country where the tragic July-August uprising took place. And the reasons are already before you. I am marine engineer Mir Mahmudur Rahman Dipto, a member of one of the victim families. My younger brother, Mir Mahfuzur Rahman Mugdho, was shot in the forehead during the uprising. He was unarmed and harmless, helping the injured reach hospitals, distributing water and food, serving humanity, as he always did. But this time, he was shot dead on the spot. This is how humanity dies. His death made headlines worldwide because we refused to stay silent, unlike many who had to. Out of fear, some couldn't even mourn to bury their loved ones. Ordinary people suffered. Rickshaw pullers who acted as ambulances were shot. Peaceful protesters silenced. Bright young talents like Abu Said, Nafis, Shoikat, Yamin, Jahiduzzaman Tanveen, women like Naima Sultana, and children like Jabir Ibrahim. So many lives lost, forever missed. Today we stand as one family, united in our demand for justice. Being Bangladesh, a peaceful nation itself, never expected its own citizens to be killed by those meant to protect them. The world must take note. I thank the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights for their commitment to bring the truth in front of the world. This report is not just numbers, it holds the pain, loss, and struggle for justice of real people. I see my own grief and the one of many others reflected in this report. Justice is not a single act, but a process, one that demands prosecution, truth-seeking, reparations, and institutional reforms. For victims, justice means accountability, not just for those who pulled the trigger, but also for those who gave the orders.
First of all, I, as you know, in my global update referred specifically to the fact-finding report. I also refer to the situation in Bangladesh. it is a fact that the interim government, interim authorities have fully cooperated with us on the establishment of the report. We have now a process in place that seeks to follow up on the recommendations. Indeed, we are very close to hopefully finalizing our presence in the country, which would precisely be to provide the support, the technical cooperation on all the areas, including on the issue of disappearances. I mean, of course, we bring in also the mechanisms in fact, the interim government has already taken the steps to sign the Convention on Enforced Disappearances. There's a whole follow-up foreseen, because I fully agree with you. One of the truth-telling is about the fate of disappeared people, because that brings closure for the families and for the loved ones, and that's incredibly important. It is a part of this victim-centered approach. We will continue to find ways to keep the Human Rights Council informed. That's also a very specific request that Dr. Yunus has put to me, and we will make sure that this is important. Just on more broader issue, and I've said it in my press conference in Dhaka at the time, it's a huge chance for the country at this pivotal time to deal with its past, to overcome its past, to reach a moment of healing and truth-telling, and that includes each and everyone within the society of Bangladesh. And it includes religious, ethnic, whatever differences you may have, but it is one country. It is one citizenship. And that's really what I think is happening at the moment, also through the reform efforts, which I think all of us have to support, because it is meant from the perspective of anchoring human rights very much in the governance of the future of the country. And that's a unique opportunity for each and every citizen of Bangladesh, irrespective of, they belong to whatever group or community. And that's really, I think, one of the big hopes that we have on the human rights front. And I remember my first telephone conversation with Dr. Yunus. He said human rights is at the center of the reform and of the transition. And of course, this is hard work. There's no doubt about it. This is not easy. But I think if there is the right spirit of everyone, of the political parties, of the different communities, to get it in this direction, there is huge hope for the world to have a story of hope to tell in what is otherwise, frankly, a very difficult environment all over the place. So I really think we need to grasp the opportunity, support the opportunities that arise, and do our utmost to support this process of transition in this country. So thank you again very much for coming.
Thank you, High Commissioner. We end on that hopeful note. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all your questions, but please feel free to reach out to the office directly with any follow-ups.